Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you.
1.
Andrea Gibson, the groundbreaking poet who redefined spoken word performance in America, died on July 15, 2025, at the age of 49. Over a prolific two-decade career, Gibson emerged as one of the most influential figures in contemporary poetry, celebrated for transforming the art form into a vehicle for activism, identity, and emotional truth. Gibson first captured national attention in the early 2000s amid a resurgence of slam poetry, quickly becoming a staple on college campuses and in grassroots performance circuits. Their dynamic presence and fearless voice helped elevate spoken word poetry into mainstream literary and cultural relevance. A tireless performer, Gibson toured extensively across North America and beyond, delivering 90-minute shows that often moved audiences to tears or cheers. Despite chronic stage fright, a vulnerability they addressed openly in their work, Gibson never wavered in their commitment to live connection. Over their career, Gibson published 7 books, including the critically acclaimed You Better Be Lightning and Lord of the Butterflies, which became bestsellers and were widely taught in classrooms. Their 7 studio albums, blending poetry and music, further expanded the reach of their voice. In 2023, Gibson was appointed as Colorado's Poet Laureate by Governor Jared Polis, a historic recognition of their role in shaping the state's cultural identity and championing the power of poetry. That same year, they became the subject of Come See Me in the Good Light, a documentary that won the Festival Favorite Award at Sundance Film Festival and is scheduled to premiere on Apple TV+. Gibson's commitment to using art as a means of advocacy earned them a devoted following, particularly within LGBTQ+ communities. Their work not only pushed literary boundaries but also created space for dialogue around gender, mental health, and love. Andrea Gibson's legacy is defined by bold creativity and transformative impact. Through every poem and performance, they challenged convention and inspired a new generation to speak and live authentically.
2.
Dave Flebotte, a distinguished writer and producer whose television credits span some of the most acclaimed shows in American TV over the past 3 decades, passed away on July 9, 2025, at the age of 65 in Missoula, Montana, following a long battle with cystic fibrosis. Flebotte's resilience was as remarkable as his talent. Diagnosed with cystic fibrosis in childhood and told he wouldn't survive beyond age 12, he defied the odds with a double lung transplant 28 years ago, continuing to build an extraordinary career in Hollywood. Born in Hanson, Massachusetts, the son of a bookie, Flebotte's path to writing began when a teacher at Emerson College recognized his voice. From the 1990s onward, he crafted a vibrant legacy in both comedy and drama. His early work included writing for hit sitcoms such as Ellen, Suddenly Susan, Will and Grace, and The Bernie Mac Show. In 1999, he received an Emmy nomination for the animated series The PJs, co-created by Eddie Murphy. Flebotte made a successful transition into prestige drama, contributing significantly to Desperate Housewives, 2008 to 2012, as co-executive producer and writer. He later joined the writing team of HBO's Boardwalk Empire, earning 2 Writers Guild of America nominations. His ability to move effortlessly between humor and pathos was perhaps most fully realized in the Showtime series I'm Dying Up Here, 2017 to 2018, which he created and executive produced. He also created the sitcom Sherry, 2009, starring Sherry Shepherd, and recently wrote for Tulsa King, 2022 to 2024, the Paramount Plus crime series starring Sylvester Stallone, marking his final screen credit. Flebotte is remembered by colleagues as a uniquely gifted, compassionate, and endlessly creative figure. "Never in all of my television writing days did I meet a man so funny and kind," said collaborator Cindy Caponera. He is survived by his wife of 13 years, Sandra Lindqvist, and their children, Zach and Emma. Dave Flebotte leaves behind a legacy not only of acclaimed storytelling, but of extraordinary perseverance and creative joy.
Three.
Val Kilmer, celebrated for his cinematic breadth and magnetic intensity, passed away at the age of 65 in Los Angeles due to pneumonia. With a career spanning 4 decades, Kilmer delivered unforgettable performances that left a lasting impact on Hollywood and audiences alike. Kilmer first captured attention in the 1984 spy comedy Top Secret, showcasing his comedic flair and musical talent. He quickly followed with the cult sci-fi favorite Real Genius, 1985, earning his place among rising screen talents. His breakthrough came in 1986's Top Gun, where he portrayed Iceman, the charismatic rival to Tom Cruise's Maverick, a role that helped cement the film's cultural impact. In 1991, Kilmer embodied rock legend Jim Morrison in Oliver Stone's biopic The Doors. His immersive performance, singing Morrison's songs and adopting his mannerisms, earned critical acclaim, with Roger Ebert hailing it as the best thing in the movie. This role showcased Kilmer's ability to channel iconic figures with depth and authenticity. Kilmer embraced a range of genres throughout the 1990s. He delivered comedic charm in Willow, 1988, portrayed an Elvis-inspired mentor in True Romance, 1993, and captured audiences as the sharp-witted gunslinger Doc Holliday in the Western classic Tombstone, 1993. His turn in Michael Mann's Heat, 1995, alongside Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, added to a string of rich ensemble performances. In 1995's Batman Forever, Kilmer donned the cape as the Caped Crusader, bringing a brooding elegance to Bruce Wayne. Though replaced in the sequel, his tenure remains a notable chapter in the franchise's evolution. Following a brief hiatus, Kilmer returned to the role of Iceman in Top Gun. Maverick, 2022, a powerful cameo that resonated deeply with fans. His later years included the 2021 documentary Val, a reflective portrait built from his own footage, and a lauded memoir, I'm Your Huckleberry, 2020, displaying his introspective insight and wit. Val Kilmer's career revealed a fearless artist willing to transform and explore. Behind every character lay a commitment to authenticity, nuance, and soulful presence. Though he may have stepped away from the spotlight at times, his most iconic performances continue to shine, defining a legacy built on bold choices and unforgettable moments. Olé.
4.
Michael Madsen, the commanding screen presence whose career was defined by collaborations with Quentin Tarantino and an unwavering commitment to storytelling, passed away on July 3, 2025, at age 67. Over a career that spanned more than 4 decades, Madsen amassed an extraordinary 346 screen credits. His breakthrough came in Reservoir Dogs, 1992, where his portrayal of Mr. Blonde, a role that became one of cinema's most iconic villains, launched him into international recognition and helped define Tarantino's directorial voice. He went on to deliver standout performances in Donnie Brasco, 1997, Thelma and Louise, 1991, Species, 1995, and Sin City, 2005, solidifying his status as a prolific actor who brought raw edge and authenticity to every role. He reunited with Tarantino for Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2, embodying Bud, a former assassin in a hauntingly nuanced performance that showcased his dramatic range. In The Hateful Eight, 2015, Madsen joined an all-star ensemble, further reaffirming his place in the auteur-driven world of American cinema. His appearance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019, reflected the evolution of his legacy, a seasoned figure comfortable in roles that echoed his long, cinematic journey. Madsen's career also expanded into television, voice acting in major video games like Grand Theft Auto 3 and Dishonored, and a robust presence in independent film. His early stage training at Chicago's Steppenwolf Theater Company laid the foundation for a craft built on depth and conviction. Though often cast as the anti-hero or outlaw, Madsen's work resonated because it felt lived in and truthful. His ability to capture complex characters with understated power made him a fixture of American film, a trusted name among directors, and a recognizable face to audiences across generations.
Five.
George Wendt, best known for his iconic portrayal of Norm Peterson on the NBC sitcom Cheers, died on May 20th, 2025, at the age of 76. His career spanned decades and was defined by critical acclaim, popular appeal, and a lasting presence in American television history. Wendt's performance as Norm across all 11 seasons of Cheers, 1982 to 1993, became one of the most beloved roles in sitcom history. Known for his deadpan wit and memorable bar entrance, he received 6 consecutive Primetime Emmy Award nominations for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. The character transcended Cheers, appearing in spin-offs such as The Tortellis, an episode of Wings, and Frasier, solidifying Wendt's place in television legacy. A graduate of the Second City Improv troupe in Chicago, Wendt's career was rooted in sharp comedic instincts and strong ensemble work. His stage training and comedic timing made him a standout in both scripted and improvisational performances. He went on to appear in numerous TV shows and films, including guest roles in Saturday Night Live, The Simpsons, Seinfeld, and Frasier. Wendt also had success on stage, performing in productions like Art, Hairspray, and Elf, the musical, showcasing his range beyond television. His work earned him recognition as a dependable character actor capable of balancing humor with emotional subtlety. In his later years, Wendt remained active in entertainment, with appearances in commercials, fan conventions, and the Emmy Awards, including a notable reunion with his Cheers co-stars in 2024 that earned widespread public affection. George Wendt's legacy is defined by enduring comedic success, an unmistakable television presence, and his role in shaping one of the most iconic sitcoms of all time. Through Norm Peterson, he brought a warmth and familiarity that audiences across generations embraced. He leaves behind a rich portfolio of performances that continue to resonate with fans and comedians alike.
Six.
Richard Chamberlain, the celebrated actor who bridged Hollywood stardom and television prestige, passed away on March 29, 2025, in Waimanalo, Hawaii, at the age of 90. Known as TV's original romantic leading man, Chamberlain leaves behind an enduring legacy of landmark miniseries and groundbreaking roles across decades of screen and stage. Chamberlain's ascent to fame began in the early 1960s with his breakout role as Dr. James Kildare in NBC's Dr. Kildare, where his gentle demeanor and matinee idol looks earned him record-breaking fan mail and instant stardom. He later reflected on the public's adoration as a deeply affirming experience during a time of personal turmoil. Being thought to be very attractive, that was just great, he once admitted, acknowledging the tension between his public image and private identity. His most acclaimed performances came during the golden era of television miniseries. In 1980, Chamberlain starred in Shogun, a sweeping historical drama shot on location in Japan. The series became a cultural phenomenon and earned him a Golden Globe and an Emmy nomination. 3 years later, he returned to screens as Father Ralph in The Thornbirds, another ratings juggernaut that showcased his capacity for nuanced, emotionally conflicted roles. Chamberlain's versatility extended to the stage and film. After Dr. Kildare, he earned praise for tackling Shakespearean roles in Britain, most notably Hamlet, and brought gravitas to films like Petulia, The Music Lovers, and The Towering Inferno. In the 1970s and 80s, he portrayed historical figures from Tchaikovsky to King Edward VIII, and even became the first actor to bring Jason Bourne to screen in 1988. His autobiography, Shattered Love, 2003, marked a profound personal milestone as he publicly came out, offering candid reflections on navigating fame and identity across changing social tides. With a career spanning 6 decades, Richard Chamberlain remained a defining figure of American television. His work not only shaped the format of the modern miniseries, but also brought emotional depth and artistic integrity to the small screen. His impact remains indelible, his legacy timeless.
Seven.
Loretta Swit, the acclaimed actress who defined a generation of strong female characters on American television, passed away on May 30th, 2025, in New York City at age 87. Her legacy is built on an enduring career that reshaped how women were portrayed in primetime television. Sweet is best remembered for her iconic role as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan on MASH, one of the most influential series in television history. Appearing in 240 of the show's 251 episodes, Sweet's portrayal evolved from a satirical figure into a complex, emotionally intelligent character. Her work garnered 10 Emmy nominations, with victories in 1980 and 1982, affirming her position as one of TV's most respected performers. Her commitment to character development was instrumental in transforming Houlihan from a one-dimensional stereotype into a layered professional woman. We celebrated the day the script came out listing her as Margaret, co-star Alan Alda remembered. That transformation not only reflected Sweet's own demands for authenticity, but also mirrored broader cultural shifts in the depiction of women on screen. Outside MASH, Sweet's career thrived in both film and theater. She delivered notable performances in Freebie and the Bean, 1974, Race with the Devil, 1975, and Blake Edwards' S.O.B., 1981. On stage, she starred in Same Time, Next Year on Broadway, as well as national productions of The Odd Couple and Shirley Valentine, the latter of which she performed more than 1,000 times, a testament to her endurance and versatility. In 1991, Sweet was awarded the prestigious Sarah Siddons Award for her theatrical contributions, solidifying her stature in the American stage community. She continued performing into the 2000s, including in revivals and documentary projects. Throughout her distinguished career, Loretta Swit championed professionalism, empathy, and artistic integrity. Her contributions to television and theater remain cornerstones of modern performance, and her career continues to inspire new generations of actors and audiences alike.
Eight.
Julian McMahon, the versatile actor whose career spanned television, film, and international acclaim, passed away on July 2nd 2025, at the age of 56. Known for his commanding presence and wide-ranging performances, McMahon established himself as a leading figure in early 2000 television drama. He earned global recognition for his portrayal of Dr. Christian Troy on FX's Nip Tuck, a groundbreaking series that ran from 2003 to 2010. Created by Ryan Murphy, the show pushed boundaries in medical drama and psychology, and McMahon's performance, both charismatic and darkly complex, was central to its critical and cultural success. Before Nip Tuck, McMahon gained popularity as Cole Turner in the fantasy drama Charmed, 2000 to 2005. As a half-demon turned tragic romantic figure, his role became a cornerstone of the series, drawing praise for its emotional depth and magnetic chemistry with co-star Alyssa Milano. His success on television transitioned to the big screen, where he took on the role of Victor Von Doom in Marvel's Fantastic Four, 2005, and its 2007 sequel. Acting opposite Chris Evans and Jessica Alba, McMahon brought intensity and elegance to one of Marvel's most iconic villains. Earlier in his career, McMahon made an impact in Australia, with roles on Home and Away and the legal drama Profiler. His move to Hollywood was marked by steady growth, leading to high-profile projects that showcased his adaptability and presence. Beyond his signature roles, McMahon continued to work across genres and platforms, appearing in thrillers, science fiction, and procedural dramas, consistently sought after for his ability to blend sophistication with emotional gravity. Julian McMahon's career was defined by bold choices, enduring characters, and a distinctive screen charisma. His work leaves an indelible mark on early 21st century television and film.
Nine.
Mark Snow, a defining figure in television music whose work helped shape the sonic identity of modern TV drama, built a remarkable career spanning more than 5 decades and over 250 screen credits. Best known for his composition of the otherworldly theme for The X-Files, Snow's contributions became emblematic of atmospheric television scoring. His work on The X-Files, 1993 to 2018 alone, encompassing all 217 episodes and 2 feature films, earned him 6 Emmy nominations. The show's iconic opening theme, created through a blend of experimental echo effects and whistling motifs, became an enduring part of pop culture and reached number 1 on music charts in France and number 2 in the UK. Rolling Stone ranked it among the 100 greatest TV theme songs of all time. Snow's versatility extended far beyond a single project. He composed extensively for procedural and dramatic television, including Heart to Heart, 90 episodes, Falcon Crest, T.J. Hooker, Starsky and Hutch, Crazy Like a Fox, Smallville, and Blue Bloods. His ability to adapt across genres, from soap operas to science fiction, made him a sought-after voice in the industry. He also brought cinematic weight to television miniseries and TV movies. Among his most lauded works were scores for Children of the Dust, Oldest Living Confederate Widow, Tells All, and Helter Skelter, each earning him Emmy recognition and further affirming his status as a master dramatist through music. A recipient of the ASCAP Golden Note Award, Snow was at the forefront of blending orchestral traditions with emerging electronic techniques, often composing in real time to scenes displayed on screen. His intuitive approach, rooted in classical training and decades of innovation, influenced generations of composers working in television and film. Through bold experimentation and an unwavering instinct for tone, Mark Snow elevated the role of music in storytelling, leaving behind a catalog that continues to resonate across decades and genres.
Ten.
Leslie Charlson, whose name became synonymous with daytime television excellence, passed away on January 12, 2025, in Los Angeles at age 79. Best known for her iconic portrayal of Dr. Monica Quartermaine on ABC's General Hospital, Charlson leaves behind a legacy of artistic longevity, genre-defining performance, and trailblazing character work in American soap opera history. Joining General Hospital in 1977, Charlson stepped into the role of Monica with a poise that quickly elevated her to central figure within the series. Over 46 years and more than 2,000 episodes, she not only defined her character, but also helped shape the emotional and narrative architecture of the show. Her nuanced portrayal of Monica, a cardiologist, mother, and matriarch, earned her 4 Daytime Emmy nominations and a devoted fan base that spanned generations. Her enduring legacy has spanned nearly 50 years on General Hospital alone, said executive producer Frank Valentini. Just as Monica was the heart of the Quartermaines, Leslie was a beloved matriarch of the entire cast and crew. Before General Hospital, Charlson had already built a formidable resume with roles on As the World Turns, A Flame in the Wind, and guest spots on primetime classics like Marcus Welby, MD, The Rockford Files, and Happy Days. Her 1973 film role in The Day of the Dolphin and her performance opposite Shelley Winters in Revenge showcased her range beyond the soap genre. Charlson's influence extended off-screen as well. When Monica's character faced breast cancer in the mid-1990s, Charlson became an advocate for awareness, leveraging her visibility to bring attention to women's health issues. Her commitment resonated with fans and advocacy groups alike. Her final appearance aired in December 2023, marking the end of a remarkable chapter in television history. Leslie Charlson will be remembered not only as a fixture of daytime drama, but as a consummate professional whose career embodied dedication, grace, and impact. Jean Marsh, the acclaimed British actress and screenwriter, leaves behind a monumental legacy marked by her pioneering achievements in television, theater, and literature. Best known for co-creating and starring in the iconic ITV drama Upstairs, Downstairs, Marsh helped redefine the period drama genre for international audiences, setting a standard that continues to inspire decades later. Marsh rose to prominence in 1971 with Upstairs, Downstairs, a series she co-created with fellow actress Eileen Atkins. Set in Edwardian England, the show offered a groundbreaking portrayal of both aristocrats and the domestic staff who served them. As Rose Buck, Marsh's nuanced performance earned her the 1975 Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, a rare feat for a British artist in American television at the time. The show itself won a Peabody Award and became a cultural landmark, broadcast in over 70 countries. Her success with Upstairs, Downstairs extended into the 2010 revival of the series, where Marsh reprised her role, this time as housekeeper, demonstrating her enduring connection to the character and the show's legacy. The revival earned her another Emmy nomination, reaffirming her status as a transatlantic television icon. Beyond this signature role, Marsh held a distinguished presence in science fiction and classic drama. She was featured in several eras of Doctor Who, becoming one of the few actors to play multiple major characters across the series' long history. Her role as Sarah Kingdom in 1965-66 remains one of the most memorable female characters of the early seasons. In film, she collaborated with legendary directors such as Alfred Hitchcock, Frenzy, 1972, and Ron Howard, Willow, 1988, showcasing her range from suspense to fantasy. On stage, Marsh worked alongside luminaries like John Gielgud and starred in Broadway and West End productions, including Much Ado About Nothing, Habeas Corpus, and Whose Life Is It? Anyway, as a writer, she extended her creative voice to fiction, authoring several novels, including works based on The House of Eliot, another successful television drama she co-created. Honored with an OBE in 2012, Marsh's multifaceted contributions to British culture remain influential, reflecting her lifelong dedication to the arts and her role as a trailblazer for women in television and storytelling. Ruth Buzzy, who captivated audiences with her sharp comedic timing and unforgettable characters, particularly as the handbag-wielding Gladys Ormsby on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, leaves behind a legacy defined by resilience, versatility, and innovation in American comedy. A mainstay of Laugh-In, from its 1967 inception until its 1973 finale, Buzzy was the only female cast member to appear in every episode. Her portrayal of Gladys Ormsby, the frumpy, hairnet-clad spinster, became a cultural fixture. The character's witty physical comedy, often involving a surprise swing of her purse, earned Buzzy 5 Emmy nominations and a Golden Globe. She once remarked, "Gladys is the underdog. She speaks for everyone who's been marginalized." That empathy made her comedy resonate deeply with audiences. Before Laugh-In, Buzzy built a strong foundation in theater. She appeared in the original Broadway run of Sweet Charity and Auntie Mame, showcasing her talents as a physical comedian and character actress. Her off-Broadway performances and revue appearances further established her as a rising star. In the 1970s and 80s, Buzzy brought her comedic brilliance to an array of family-friendly programming. She became a familiar face on Sesame Street, playing shopkeeper Ruthie and voicing beloved characters like Susie Kabloozy. Her contributions extended to animated series such as Pound Puppies and the Berenstain Bears, and she continued making guest appearances on major TV shows, including That Girl, Saved by the Bell, and The Muppet Show. Buzzy also shined in children's film and television, co-starring with Jim Nabors in The Lost Saucer and appearing in Disney's Freaky Friday, 1976, and The Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, 1979. Her comedic range found space in everything from game shows to voiceovers, affirming her wide appeal across generations. Later in life, Buzzy remained engaged with fans through social media, drawing thousands with her signature one-liners and affable humor. She was active until 2021 and honored by peers as one of the most distinct voices in sketch comedy. Ruth Buzzy's creative spirit, bold, kind, and enduring, transformed variety television and brought laughter to millions. Her characters remain timeless emblems of comedy that champions the outsider, the overlooked, and the determined. Nicky Katt, whose chameleon-like versatility left a vivid mark on American film and television over nearly 4 decades, is remembered as a gifted actor whose performances brought raw realism and biting wit to the screen. Best known for his roles in Dazed and Confused, A Time to Kill, and Boston Public, Katt passed away in April 2025 at age 54. Launching his career as a child actor in the early 1980s with appearances in series like Chips and Voyagers, Katt transitioned into a compelling adult performer whose roles often leaned into complexity and edge. In Richard Linklater's 1993 cult classic Dazed and Confused, his turn as Clint Bruno, the volatile antagonist, became a defining portrayal of misdirected masculinity in teen cinema. Katt's film career spanned both mainstream and independent gems, including standout performances in Sister Act, Rules of Engagement, Full Frontal, Insomnia, The Dark Knight, and School of Rock. In Joel Schumacher's A Time to Kill, 1996, his chilling portrayal of a white supremacist added harrowing intensity to the film's courtroom drama. Between 2000 and 2002, Katt brought emotional depth and moral ambiguity to the role of Harry Sennett, an unorthodox teacher in Boston Public, created by David E. Kelley. The character, both revered and controversial, showcased Kat's range in long-form television and earned him wide critical recognition. A frequent collaborator of director Robert Rodriguez, Kat impressed peers and directors alike with his extraordinary preparation. Rodriguez noted, "He'd deliver lines that sounded improvised but were pure text, and if he did ad-lib, it was always gold. Nikki was an absolute joy on and off the camera." Kat's work embodied the spirit of indie cinema, unpolished, emotionally honest, and defiantly original. His last credited screen role came in 2018 on Hulu's Casual, capping a 38-year career defined by bold character choices and subtle craft. Behind the camera, Kat was known to be private, thoughtful, and deeply immersed in the artistic process. His legacy, built on roles that pulsed with authenticity and edge, continues to resonate in the work of a generation of actors inspired by his fearless performances. Breaking news. At 70, Denzel Washington still leads the stage with power, purpose, and precision. The blueprint of a giant. Humble beginnings in Mount Vernon. On a winter's day in 1954, in Mount Vernon, New York, a child named Denzel Hayes Washington Jr. was born into a home of balance. His mother, Lennis, owned a modest beauty salon where every chair held more than clients. They carried stories, wisdom, and the fierce resilience of working women. His father, the Reverend Denzel Washington Sr., divided his time between driving a truck and delivering sermons that echoed with thunderous grace. From these dual influences, Denzel's life took form, grounded in community, uplifted by discipline. The rhythmic patterns of church hymns and the ordered life of a preacher's son taught him early about integrity. Meanwhile, the salon offered him a stage of sorts, filled with vibrant voices and narrative fragments that would later inform his character work. When his mother sensed adolescence might pull him toward the wrong path, she enrolled him at Oakland Military Academy. There, at the age of 14, Denzel discovered a new kind of order. The structure, the demand for punctuality, the expectation of perfection, these were not burdens. They were frameworks. He thrived in that system, adopting habits that would become part of his actor's toolkit: focus, resilience, preparation. After high school, Denzel enrolled at Fordham University, initially interested in journalism. He worked part-time jobs, flipped burgers, volunteered, and saved pennies for acting classes. A single drama elective changed everything. What began as curiosity turned into calling. Fordham offered fertile ground. Denzel took roles in campus productions and participated in summer theater. His summers at the Berkshire Playhouse demanded more than lines memorized. They taught him range, nuance, movement, and vocal economy. These early performances formed a foundation not just of skill, but of storytelling truth. A scholarship to the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco further sharpened his tools. Though he only stayed a year, the impact was indelible. Movement, breath control, diction, he absorbed everything. By 1977, with a degree in drama and journalism, he stood at a crossroads: Los Angeles or New York, television or theater. He chose them all. In 1982, American television audiences were introduced to a fresh and commanding presence through NBC's critically acclaimed medical drama, Saint Elsewhere. Among the ensemble cast, a young Denzel Washington stood out in the role of Dr. Philip Chandler, a competent, composed, and intellectually rigorous young black physician navigating the fast-paced, high-stakes world of a Boston hospital. Over 6 seasons and 96 episodes, Washington not only held his own in a predominantly white cast, but often served as the emotional and moral anchor in a chaotic healthcare environment. His performance was marked by a calm authority, a nuanced intelligence, and a magnetic presence that signaled to viewers and industry insiders alike that this was not just another television actor. This was a force in the making. Washington brought to the role a dignity and restraint that challenged the television norms of the era. In an industry where black characters were still often relegated to supporting or stereotypical roles, Dr. Chandler emerged as a fully realized individual, educated, professional, and emotionally complex. The role proved foundational, not just in establishing Denzel's credibility as a screen actor, but in setting a precedent for the kinds of stories and characters he would continue to pursue, layered, socially significant, and rich with internal conflict. But Washington had broader aspirations beyond network television. His transition to film was both swift and seamless. In 1987, he took on the role of anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko in Cry Freedom, directed by Richard Attenborough. The film tackled one of the most volatile and urgent human rights issues of the 20th century, and Denzel rose to the challenge with quiet power. His portrayal radiated spiritual conviction, moral clarity, and restrained defiance. The performance earned him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor and catapulted him into international recognition. Then came Glory in 1989, a film that would mark a turning point. Playing Private Tripp, a formerly enslaved man fighting for the Union Army during the Civil War, Washington embodied a harrowing blend of rage, sorrow, and resilience. In one hauntingly silent scene, his back exposed to brutal punishment, a single tear rolled down his face. That moment transcended the screen. It became an iconographic image of dignity in suffering. The performance earned him his first Oscar, establishing him not just as a star, but as a vessel for historic storytelling. Throughout the 1990s and into the early 2000s, Denzel Washington built one of the most consistently acclaimed acting portfolios in Hollywood, choosing roles that not only showcased his technical skill, but expanded the scope of what a leading man, especially a black leading man, could represent on screen. This era saw him evolve from a respected dramatic talent into a bona fide cultural icon, capable of carrying blockbuster thrillers, historic dramas, and character-driven pieces with equal precision and power. Perhaps the most defining moment of this period was his performance in Malcolm X, 1992, a film directed by Spike Lee that spanned more than 3 hours and traced the full arc of one of America's most complex civil rights figures. From the early days of Malcolm Little's troubled street life, through his transformation in prison, to his rise as a revolutionary black leader and eventual assassination, Denzel delivered a performance that was as multifaceted as the man himself. It was not an impersonation, but an inhabiting, each shift in posture, tone, and gaze marking another layer in Malcolm's evolution. The film transcended cinema, becoming a staple in schools, a point of discussion in political circles, and a cultural benchmark for biographical storytelling. Denzel's portrayal remains one of the most referenced and respected of his career. He followed this towering performance with more restrained but equally compelling roles. In The Pelican Brief, 1993, he played a journalist opposite Julia Roberts, navigating political danger with intelligence and moral resolve. Then in Crimson Tide, 1995, he stood toe-to-toe with veteran actor Gene Hackman in a nuclear submarine thriller that unfolded like a psychological chess match. In both roles, Denzel brought his signature elements: meticulous preparation, calibrated delivery, and an inner tension that spoke volumes even in silence. Returning to true story territory in The Hurricane, 1999, Denzel portrayed Reuben "Hurricane" Carter, a boxer wrongly imprisoned for murder. The role demanded both physical transformation and emotional control. Denzel balanced Carter's seething injustice with moments of quiet introspection, producing a performance that, although not Oscar-winning, was deeply human and morally forceful. It solidified Denzel's image as an actor drawn to justice, resilience, and truth. In 2001, he stunned audiences by taking on a radically different role: Detective Alonzo Harris in Training Day. Abandoning the righteousness that had defined many of his previous characters, Denzel embraced corruption, manipulation, and violence. Alonzo Harris was a street-smart, rule-breaking anti-hero whose charisma made him seductive and whose moral decay made him terrifying. The performance was a revelation. Denzel inverted every expectation and delivered a searing portrait of power unchecked. It earned him his second Academy Award, this time for Best Actor, making him only the second African American to win in that category. Following this, Denzel continued to diversify his roles. In Man on Fire, 2004, he portrayed a bodyguard turned Avenger, fusing brutal action with emotional depth. In Inside Man, 2006, he played a detective navigating a cerebral bank heist, showcasing strategic finesse. And in American Gangster, 2007, he portrayed Frank Lucas, a Harlem drug kingpin whose controlled ruthlessness made him as compelling as he was dangerous. Each film revealed a different facet of his range, whether as hero, anti-hero, or something in between, and each reaffirmed his dominance in Hollywood's top tier. This period cemented Denzel Washington not just as a talented actor, but as a transformative presence. His choices reshaped expectations, challenged norms, and consistently elevated the art of cinematic storytelling. In 2016, Denzel Washington took on one of the most ambitious and artistically significant projects of his career, bringing August Wilson's Pulitzer Prize-winning play Fences to the big screen. Not only did he star in the film as Troy Madsen, a deeply conflicted former baseball player grappling with bitterness and family tension, but he also stepped behind the camera as director. The adaptation was a masterstroke of faithfulness and interpretation, preserving Wilson's original dialogue, rich structure while elevating it with the intimacy of cinematic close-ups and naturalistic settings. Washington's portrayal of Troy was thunderous yet wounded, authoritative yet insecure, a performance grounded in decades of emotional memory and stage experience, having performed the same role in a 2010 Broadway revival. Viola Davis, who played Rose, Troy's long-suffering wife, delivered an emotionally seismic performance that earned her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. The film itself was nominated for Best Picture, and Washington earned another Best Actor nomination, further affirming his artistic range not only as a performer, but as a visionary director capable of curating great performances from others. Fences was more than just another award-season film. It was a reclamation of African-American narratives, voices, and truths, told through an uncompromising lens of dignity and realism. Beyond the accolades, Fences exemplified a broader mission that has defined Washington's off-screen pursuits. Through his production company, Monday Lane Entertainment, he has championed stories rooted in cultural representation, moral complexity, and generational truth. Whether producing legal thrillers, biographical dramas, or additional Wilson adaptations, Washington insists on projects that speak with clarity and weight. His behind-the-scenes work includes mentoring up-and-coming writers, directors, and actors, ensuring that talent is cultivated not just for performance, but for leadership in storytelling. Integral to his sustained creative power is Denzel's deep and consistent commitment to health, not as vanity or image maintenance, but as a philosophy of being. His mornings begin before sunrise at 4:30 a.m. when he quietly stretches, drinks warm lemon water, and centers himself through silent reflection or prayer. His fitness regimen combines strength training, functional mobility work, and martial arts techniques. when injuries surface, as they have from decades of action-heavy roles. Knee stress, shoulder flare-ups, he turns to recovery protocols like cryotherapy, Pilates, and oxygen therapy. These are not luxury indulgences, but tools of endurance. Washington eats with the precision of a craftsman preparing for performance. His meals are rooted in Mediterranean staples, olive oil, fish, fresh vegetables, chosen not just for flavor, but for their impact on vascular health, energy, and longevity. He guards his sleep routine, recognizing that rest is as essential to clarity and creativity as any rehearsal. Disconnected from digital noise, his evenings are sacred, reserved for family, reflection, or simple stillness. But health for Denzel is holistic. It is not merely about keeping the body strong. It is about aligning the mind and spirit with purpose. He keeps a journal. He walks beside his wife without headphones or distractions, using those moments for real conversation and reconnection. His prayers are not performative, but private. A spiritual centering that has carried him through success and sorrow alike. Sorrow, indeed, has visited Washington often. The loss of his father in 1991 marked the first rupture. In 2009, the passing of close friend and co-star Michael Clark Duncan was another painful blow. 3 years later, director Tony Scott, who helped shape some of Denzel's finest work, took his own life. In 2020, the death of Chadwick Boseman, a man who credited Denzel with helping fund his education, was both deeply personal and symbolic, a passing of the torch. Then, in 2021, Denzel lost his mother, Lennis, the woman whose strength, warmth, and moral compass had shaped the man he became. Each loss brought grief, but none left him stagnant. Washington transmuted pain into purpose. He endowed scholarships in memory of his father, enabling future artists to train without financial burden. He underwrote youth arts programs in honor of Whitney Houston. After Boseman's death, he expanded his efforts to support emerging Black talent through training and visibility. And in memory of his mother, he established a beauty arts initiative aimed at empowering single mothers with tools for financial independence. To Denzel Washington, grief is not the end of the sentence. It is a comma, a momentary pause before the next line of action. His life is a tapestry woven not just with accolades, but with intention, to honor, to uplift, to prepare the ground for those who follow. In every choice, on screen or off, there is a through line of service, structure, and soul. Married since 1983 to the steadfast and talented Pauletta Washington, Denzel Washington has long rooted his public brilliance in the steady ground of private devotion. Their marriage, built on mutual respect and spiritual alignment, has endured through decades of stardom, raising a family not only in love, but in purpose. Together, they have nurtured 4 children, John David, Katia, Malcolm, and Olivia, each of whom has carved their own path in the creative arts, echoing the legacy of their parents while building new expressions of it. John David Washington, once a professional football player, has since become a leading man in his own right, starring in films such as Tenet, Black Klansman, and Amsterdam, where his performances blend strength with introspective depth. Katia, the eldest daughter, has chosen to work behind the scenes, producing films and bringing to life stories with an eye for detail and integrity. Malcolm directs, with a focus on music videos and emerging media, while Olivia pursues acting and graduate studies, her stage presence reflecting both discipline and soul. Despite their diverse endeavors, the Washingtons remain closely knit. Family dinners are a treasured ritual, occasions filled with robust conversations, scripture readings, laughter, and the comfort of Pauletta's legendary gumbo. With grandchildren now joining the fold, Denzel sees himself not just as a father, but as a patriarch shaping the next generation through quiet example and intentional presence. Even as he enters his early 70s, Denzel Washington shows no signs of slowing down. His mentoring style, forged through decades of excellence, blends the analytical eye of a director with the patience of a teacher. On set, he invites young actors and crew to shadow him, not to observe passively, but to engage deeply. "Where's the rhythm? What does this line want?" he often asks, probing not just for a performance, but for purpose. His script preparation is famously meticulous. He uses colored pencils to mark emotional beats and thematic through lines. Red for justice, blue for redemption, green for conflict. He rehearses aloud, walks the full set before filming, and ensures that each moment has been lived in, not merely performed. His schedule remains robust. A sequel to Journal for Jordan, directed by his son John David, is in development. A revival of King Hedley 2, another August Wilson classic, is planned for Broadway and eventual cinematic adaptation. There is also early talk of transitioning the Equalizer franchise to a new lead, passing the baton to a younger, possibly female protagonist. In tandem, Denzel is writing a book that compiles his mother's wisdom and life parables, a tribute both personal and universal. Beyond his creative pursuits, Denzel's philanthropy continues quietly but powerfully. Through the Washington Family Foundation, he has directed millions toward underserved schools, community arts programs, disaster relief, efforts, and literacy initiatives. He funds storytelling competitions for aspiring filmmakers, equips STEM labs in public schools, and supports career mentorship programs for youth. His generosity is intentional and largely unpublicized. Giving, he has said, should be as silent as prayer. Denzel Washington's life is not one of isolated triumphs. It is a symphony of purpose, crafted through consistency, elevated by humility, and guided by faith. Every award he has won is a comma in a sentence still unfolding. Every role, whether on screen or in life, is a message about dignity, commitment, and belief in something greater than the self. He reminds us that greatness is not born from perfection, but from preparation. It is not defined by the spotlight, but by what you bring into it. At 71, Denzel still walks with the energy of a man in his prime, but more notably, he lives with the clarity of someone who understands that legacy is not built in the rearview mirror, but in the choices made today. And as for his future, he is far from finished. The next act is already in motion.